on a Saturday at 1 in the morning? Where's the people?
We are just now starting to see the consequences of Trump's horrible anti-tourism policies. Las Vegas is apparently empty, and it's not because the casinos went broke, but because Donald Trump is the worst leader this country has ever had. Tourism is down across the board, but especially in Las Vegas, where tipped workers are seeing up to 50% less in wages because of the drop in tourism. And it isn't just Las Vegas, by the way. This is happening across the nation, but we'll get to that in a second. First, I want to show you guys just what happens when Trump implements his economic policy.
I ain't never seen Vegas look like this on a Saturday at 1 in the morning. Where's the people? Holy shit, dude. What the fuck? Like, I can't make this shit up. Holy shit, bro. This is a Saturday at 1 in the... Where are the fucking people? Look, even on the Venetian Bridge over there. Nobody. Holy shit.
And that woman's experience seems to be reflecting the wallets of the workers on the Strip. Here's an article from the New York Post, so basically a conservative poop sponge, but even they have to point out this very obvious truth. Las Vegas workers have seen their income from tips plunge by as much as 50%, despite the recently passed no tax on tips law, as tourism in Sin City takes a hit from Trump's global trade war. No tax on tips, that's a rad thing, but it doesn't really do us much good if there isn't any people to get tips from. Charlie Mungo, a 36-year-old tattoo artist in downtown Las Vegas, told the Wall Street Journal. He added that Canadian customers who make up 30% of his clientele have vanished, and we're all starting to freak out. Again, like I said before, this isn't just happening in Las Vegas. We're seeing a nearly 13% fall in international travelers to the United States, all because that rotting orange kumquat is making this country as rotten as he is, by insanely price gouging foreign visitors, we'll get to that later, and his tendency to lock up tourists for weeks on end with his ICE Gestapo secret police. And on top of that, his insane tariff wars are really pissing off our allies, namely Canada. Here's reporting from travelandworldtour.com. New Hampshire joins New York, Florida, California, Texas, Michigan, Maine in experiencing sharp drop in Canadian tourists' arrival, affecting U.S. travel industry economy. New Hampshire joins all of the states listed in experiencing a sharp drop in Canadian tourists in 2025. This unexpected trend is now affecting the broader U.S. travel industry economy in serious ways. That's where I disagree with them with unexpected. You and I both saw this coming months ago. Travel leaders in New Hampshire say Canadian traffic has fallen by nearly 30% in that state, echoing what's already happening in New York, Florida, California, and major tourism-dependent U.S. states. This is happening to the biggest institutions like Disney World that is seeing a decline in travelers. Why? Because mostly Canadians are opting out of U.S. vacationing right now. And this is all sure to hit the bank with an estimated $12.5 billion in losses because of this. Here's reporting from News Nation.
Tourism to the U.S. is on the decline. The U.S. is set to lose $12.5 billion because of it. Traveler spending here is already down 22.5%. That's from last year, and it may only get worse.
This summer already has seen significantly fewer tourists in this particular area here, according to small business owners, and they are definitely noticing that traffic has a bit of a downward trend there as far as what they're used to. There's a few things that are contributing to that there, because it depends on how much money you have, what you plan on traveling, what's happening in the international world there. So let's kind of break down what exactly is going on, what could add to this here. In New York City alone, officials expect 2 million fewer international visitors this year, meaning $4 billion in lost spending, and that's going to be on hotels, dining, and tours. And nationwide, the U.S. is on track to lose $12.5 billion in foreign visitor spending, the only country out of 184 economies expected to see a drop there. The travel to the U.S. is down from multiple key markets. The number of German visitors to the U.S. is down 28%. The U.K. visitors down 15%. And folks coming in from South Korea also at 15%. In Minnesota, that decline is prompting action with cross-border traffic from Canada down 28%. The state is now running new ads to bring visitors back. Tourism officials say the drop could cost 14,000 jobs and more than $2 billion in lost economic activity. Canadian tourists play a key role in supporting small towns and summer economies. And if you haven't noticed, and if you've been watching us, a bit of a rift between Canada and the United States of America recently, particularly since Donald Trump took office, and all the tariff wars that have been going on between not just the U.S. and the world, but particularly their U.S. and Canada. So perhaps this is a bit of vengeance from Canadians here on not coming to visit and taking their plans elsewhere, but certainly has an impact, it looks like.
And Marcus, as you talk about some of the factors that could be contributing to this, we do know there is a visa integrity fee that a lot of internationals have to pay now. Do you think that could be contributing as well?
Yeah, that's something that could be coming down the pipeline here. No clear date on when that could go into effect. It would be a $250 fee, and if you happen to be able to follow through on the visa rules and regulations, you could get that back there. But it's something that a lot of folks are saying could discourage even further visitation here to America, and they're concerned that it's not going to help the cause at all here. No specific date, again, Hannah, on when this could take place, but another factor that could contribute to those declining tourism numbers that we are seeing so far this year in America. But as always, a couple blocks up here, Times Square, that main attraction, no doubt gets packed no matter what.
And of course that makes sense, because why, as a Canadian, would you visit New York City right now when you might get shaken down by a Gestapo ICE agent for walking through Times Square? Or why would you feel comfortable bringing your children to Disney World when it's in the state that also just built a swamp concentration camp? I've heard some conservatives online blame this tourism decline as if the world is just globally poorer and is going through economic troubles, and that's why they aren't traveling as much. But that's not true. Here's reporting from The Independent that shows that the United States is the only country facing tourism decline because of Trump's policies that are going to cost us $29 billion in visitor revenue. This is a wake-up call for the U.S. government. Julia Simpson, president and CEO of the World Trade and Tourism Council, said in a statement in May. While other nations are rolling out the welcome mat, the U.S. government is putting out the closed sign. The projected decline is driven by an estimated 20% drop in Canadian visitors. Well, it turns out it was actually 30% in 2025, who spent $20.5 billion and made up almost a quarter of foreign tourists who came to the U.S. last year. Meanwhile, Mexico's tourism industry is expected to boom, with WTTC projections for 2025 indicating a record $281 billion uptick to the country's GDP. Mexico is eating our lunch right now, and I know that because I was just eating lunch in Mexico last week on vacation. Meanwhile, the United States is turning into the worst country to visit in the world and is not exactly bringing back any of those business investments or manufacturing jobs or any jobs at all, seeing as Trump just got caught cooking the books with his job numbers to the point where he had to fire the person who told the truth. Everyone's been asking, where's the recession? You guys said Trump's policies were going to cause a recession. Where is it? Well, it turns out they were just hiding the fact that it already started 2 months ago. Buckle up, folks, because it seems like the depravity has gotten to the point where we can't even trust the job numbers coming out of the U.S. government anymore. So if you want to stay up to date on how Trump is unraveling our economy while building himself a gaudy ballroom with our taxpayer dollars, well, you can find out right here at Really American. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you next time.